happy Lady Midnight Day. Because it's paid. What did I just read? What the fuck did I just read? Right. Okay then. Everything's a mess. Hello everyone! Today we are going to be discussing Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare, the first book in the Dark Artifices series, which is the sequel series to the Mortal Instruments. It is a Shadowhunters novel and it's set in the Shadowhunter world, which is my fave. So I'm really excited about this. This book, it was everything I wanted from the book. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what it was going to be like and what it was going to be like having a whole new set of characters. Even though we met them in City of Heavenly Fire, it was only brief and I didn't know what we were going to expect having a whole story about them. It passed any expectations that I had. It was just so good, and Cassandra Clare remains to be my favourite author. Her writing, the way she does it, the characters she creates, it's just incredible. I finished this book and could just still see it all in my head. I was still with all of the characters. I was still in Los Angeles in this institute, and it's just so good. And the new characters, I love them so much already, and I was so happy with it. For people that are being skeptical and saying that it's just the same story, Emma's just another Jace, honestly, no, they're not. They're different people, different stories, different characters with different lives and different experiences, so don't let that be something that puts you off reading it. If you haven't read any of the whole series or any of the Shadowhunter books, the Mortal Instruments is a series by Cassandra Clare. It has a prequel series, The Infernal Devices, and then it has this, which is its sequel series, The Dark Artifices, and then it has loads of little short stories and ebook stories and stuff. The whole world is fantastic, the characters are fantastic, I love them so very much, and this whole world is my favourite series and my favourite world to go to, so I would definitely recommend them and that you go and read them. That is it, non-spoilery people. If you haven't read this book yet and you haven't read them, you haven't read the rest of them, I don't want to ruin it for you. If you have read the other books but not this one yet, I would very much recommend reading Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, the short ebooks that Cassandra Clare released, because even though she said they're not entirely crucial and really relevant, they do talk about things that happen in those books in this, and even though they're explained, I found that it was really good to have the extra knowledge and the extra backstory. So if you have time and you're able to get those Shadowhunter Academy ebooks, I definitely recommend them. So, hello people that have read it. Oh my god, oh my god. These are all the things that I want to talk about, so there's a lot to get through. So we kick it off in the Los Angeles Institute with Emma and Christina. The first time we met Emma was in City of Heavenly Fire and she was 12 years old. She just lost her parents, the war was going on, we were focused on Clary and Jace and Alec, I was going to say Malik then, and Alec and Magnus and Simon and Isabel, and we were focusing on that whole situation, and whilst we were being introduced to Emma and what was going on with her, we weren't really too preoccupied with that situation going on because obviously we wanted to know what was happening with Sebastian. We get introduced to Emma, she's with Christina. I really think Christina's a good character. I liked her attitude toward things and the way that she was and the faith that she had and just her whole attitudes towards the situation. I think that she was a really good character and I really liked her. Emma is talking about how she really misses the Blackthorns. They've gone to England on holiday and she is Julian's Parabatai, which, you know, I'll get to that in a minute because fucking hell. I really like Emma as a character as well. I think she's really strong and determined. Blackthorn's motto of bad law is no law, and this idea that there can be things that aren't right and that we shouldn't have to conform to and we shouldn't have to follow because it's not right, and I feel like that was a very present motto in this book. We also find out about this cold peace with the Fae folk after the war with Sebastian, where they can no longer be helped by Shadowhunters. There's no longer a member of them on the whole panel and part of the whole negotiation that they've got on, and we can't help the Fae folk anymore But obviously Mark is one of them, Helen is one of them, they are half Fae, their mum was one of the Fae folk. So obviously that brings this situation. We learn that Helen has been exiled and they're not allowed to see her, and we don't know where Mark is. He's been taken away and we don't know where he is. I got really attached to these characters really early on, really soon on. I love Julian, and I really feel like his struggle with having to raise 4 kids on his own, and the feelings that he has for Emma, and he has to run this institute, and I really feel as though he is a very strong character. I just want to put him into bed and just like tuck him in and say, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be good. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders and he's only 17. You could feel how tired he was and how exhausted he was and how much he just needed a break, and I feel as though the way he was written really portrayed the side of him that was funny and a teenager, but then also the side of him that had to be the adult and had to be the parent. We also met a new warlock, Malcolm Fade, and let me tell you, I knew that he was dodgy, like from the beginning. I don't know why, there was just something about him. He was evasive. When Magnus asked him some questions, he was a bit funny with it, and I just thought that I don't know, there was just something off about him. I don't know, he felt off for me, he felt shady, it was all weird, and I was right, because there was. That whole scene at the end, I got so attached to these characters that when Tavi got taken, I was just thinking she's going to do another Max. Like, she is literally going to do what she did with Max again, and it's going to emotionally ruin my life. I also do not think that Malcolm is dead. I feel as though that was too easy. He's a high warlock. I can see him coming back. Right, there is something dodgy going on with the Fae folk and the Seelie Queen, because no one knows where she is. The bit with Sebastian in City of Heavenly Fire when he's in bed with her, I refuse to believe that that was just added as a little extra bit to the story. We can't find her. It's 5 years later, no one knows where she is. I don't think she's dead. I bet something, like she comes back with some little demon Sebastian spawn. It wouldn't surprise me if that happened. Where is she? She's not just white, she was just the head of the Seelies and she's just gone. What's she doing? Where is she? Where's she been? What is she planning? And I loved all of the references to the older books. They flowed well, they went well. Just little references, little things that seemed realistic and seemed relevant, and I really loved it. It was just, some of the bits just really made me smile. Where they ordered the pizza, Emma noticed he was wearing a grey t-shirt that said TMI across the front. Too much information? She said. He brightened. The Mortal Instruments, they're a band from Brooklyn. You heard of them? Clary is now adding runes to the Grey Book. Jace descended the stairs in a manner that made Julian wonder if Jace thought he had a magnificent train trailing behind him, slowly, deliberately, and as if he were aware that he were the focus of all eyes. Nothing's changed there then. Magnus pops up in Malcolm's house.
Magnus, you've got your own hopeless humans in New York. One of those hopeless humans is the father of my child.
They talk about Max, and they talk about how Magnus and Alec adopted Max. I was living for Robert and Magnus's interactions at the end when they come to the Institute. They're trying to talk about these serious things. Like, none of them are taking shit from Robert anymore. Whenever he said something that Clary didn't agree with, she would tell him, and so would Jace, and I liked that. "Come into the room, Arthur," said Robert. "Please do not give me the impression that you're hiding in the sanctuary. When you use that voice, I want to hide in the sanctuary," said Magnus. Obtaining those ingredients by orchestrating the situations that created them were ingenious. He noticed Robert glaring at him. Very evil, also. Robert's going to be his father-in-law at some point. He's trying to get into his good books, and it was just really funny and such a human thing and such a Magnus thing to do. It was so funny to watch those interactions, even though they were quite short. Let's talk about Julian and Emma's relationship. We knew in City of Heavenly Fire, we knew that they were going to regret becoming Parabatai. Julian was in love with Emma and he didn't say anything and he didn't stop it. And even Julian said he wishes they hadn't. Emma said she wishes she'd been Christina's because it would just make it so much easier. And then they slept together and they're not allowed to be together. It's just this whole mess of a situation that I just don't need in my life. We find out from Jem, who, by the way, I loved having in this. I loved Jem and Tessa. I loved being able to see more of Jem As Jem, his interactions with things and how he obviously cares about Emma and how he wants to be around Emma and he's protecting her by sending presents to her from church, and then he left church in the box. Please look after my cat. He gets back to the institute and church just knows he's there and he just runs at him and jumps on him, and I live for Jem and church, so I hope that they're together forever. I love them. But we learn from Jem that when Parabatai fall in love and have that kind of connection that's more than platonic, they have this ability to have this incredible power that rivals a warlock's power. And that's obviously why when Julian gets shot, when Diego shoots him because he doesn't realise who he is, Emma was the one that was able to cure Julian and to save Julian, because as Malcolm says, he should have died, and Emma was able to save him, and it's why they miss each other so much and why they can feel the other one's presence so much more than regular Parabatai. It was so heartbreaking at the end when she had to tell him no and she couldn't tell him why. She told Mark that they had to pretend, and then Mark says, well, why lie? And it just ends, and I think, is Mark going to develop feelings for Emma? And it's just going to break Julian's heart. It actually was said at the start of the book, I think it was Julian that she was talking to, that with Jace and Clary and Alec and Magnus, all the things that were done for them after they saved the world and after they saved everyone, the Clave made loads of exceptions for them. So if you're a hero, you make the rules and you can change the rules. And that sort of made me think, was that a hint at the fact that Emma's going to do something really good and the Clave's going to owe her a favour, or the Clave's going to help her with something, and they're going to find a way to let Julian and Emma be together or to break the Parabatai bond? Because that felt a lot like foreshadowing, and when I read that I thought, is that going to be some kind of hint? But I love their friendship and I love the connection that they have. I'd wish you'd quit going to the shadow market, Julian muttered. It's dangerous there. Oh no, Emma said. Not danger, mister, I just almost bled out in my car. Can't believe I ever complained about Jules being a nickname. We all knew it was coming though. We all knew that they were going to regret the hell out of the Parabatai situation. Mark comes back into it. The Faithful come and make a deal with the Shadowhunters of the Los Angeles Institute, and they don't tell the Clave, they take Mark back in. I think that was written really, really well and really showed what it can be like to be so far away from what you've known and so far away from who you've known for so long, because Mark hasn't known how much time has passed, he doesn't know where he's been really, the kind of time moves differently in the world that he was in. So coming back and seeing Tavi so grown up, he thought Julian was his father, and that whole bit was so emotional because he's really trying to readjust into this world that he knew for so long. It really does feel like he lost some part of who he was. And it was making me laugh though how he was speaking and everyone was saying, you don't need to sound like you're a walking poem. He reminds me a bit of Thor in the Avengers when he says things he doesn't understand. I really liked him and Kieran, and that was also an emotional situation. They seem like they both really care about each other, and Kieran obviously really cares about Mark. Mark had to say goodbye to him and had to go back to his family and stay with his family, so it was definitely a situation that was a tough one, but I don't think we've seen the end of Kieran. I think he's going to come back into it. I really hope that we can get Helen back as well so Mark can see her again and she can be reunited with her family properly. Let's talk about Kit. So we meet Kit at the start. His dad is being really shady, works for the shadow market. Kit's dad dies. Kit phones Emma, and while they're there, Jem and Tessa come into it. Jem has told Emma that he had to go and find something. Didn't say that thing was a person. Didn't say that thing was a Herondale. What? And then Jem's all like, yeah, because the cast does owe the Herondales, and then stabbed me in the chest a little bit more when Tessa called him Christopher Herondale. It was so emotional because we learn about the lost Herondale in the Shadowhunter Academy series, and they tell us about Tobias Herondale who ran away and how his partner was pregnant, and Katerina runs away with the baby because they punished the partner instead because they couldn't find Tobias. There's actually a new line of descendants and Herondale people. This is gonna be like Jace's relative and Tessa's relative, but she is Tessa Herondale, Carstairs, Grey, you know. All these Herondales need to sort out which name they have. I was not expecting it. I was not expecting the Herondale to play a part. I was not expecting Jem and Tessa's part to be to do with the Herondales. I was expecting them to help because Emma is a Carstairs, not because of the Herondales, and it just, I didn't see it come in. The Julian and Emma thing, I saw that come in. and I knew there was going to be some kind of evil that was trying to do more things. I did not see a new Herondale with this new situation. Like, what's going to happen? They need to tell, they're going to tell Jace, because Jace can do it. Like, what is going to happen with this situation? What's he going to do? Like, what the hell? I didn't see that coming. Oh my god. I love seeing Jem and Tessa though, and I love seeing more of them, and I can't wait to see more of them and find out what they found out and the work that they've been doing. And when Jem told Emma that, believe it or not, he actually had quite good experience at being an uncle. Such a mess. And then we have the epilogue, and Annabelle, who Malcolm was trying to bring back to life, opened her eyes. What is she gonna be like? Is she gonna be like, she's not gonna be like great, like she's not gonna understand why she's coming to life, where she is, what's happened, the world that she's in. That's gonna be a massive mess of a situation. It made me think of that episode of Buffy when Buffy comes back to life and she's just like in an absolute mess of a state because she's just been dead. She's within the world of the dead. She doesn't know what's going on and what's back in the real life. And obviously this is going to cause a situation because it's illegal to bring people back to life, and just what is she going to be like, we don't know. And obviously that's going to play a massive part in the next book. So that's why I also think that Malcolm isn't dead, because I feel like there's going to be some kind of link there. So that was a massive cliffhanger, and I don't understand why I have to wait so long to find out what happens next. I'm going to go mad. I'm glad that Emma was able to find out that who killed her parents, and that she stood up to Robert, and that Clary even said, look, yo, I never thought that it was Sebastian that killed her parents. It was too weird. It was such an isolated event. It didn't look the same. It didn't work the same as Sebastian. And I'm glad that Emma finally got the closure on that, and that we found out who it was and why he did it and the whole situation. And I feel like that's going to really help Emma's character and help her be able to move on. I feel like all of the new characters were so diverse as well. They all want to do different things. They all have different opinions. They all have different personalities, and I fell so in love with all of the characters. And I really like that Cassandra Clare takes issues and things and people from our everyday life and puts them into this situation. Just because it's a fantasy book doesn't mean that people that struggle with the way that they look and the way that they are and LGBTQ plus characters don't exist. I think it's really good to have characters like that in books that are fantasy books, and because these books are read by so many people, and there's going to be people that have all of those things. I think it's so great that we have such a massive in-depth fantasy world. I think that that's so important, and I think it's so good to have such a wide range of diverse characters. And then obviously cannot leave out that at the end of the book there is a long conversation, a new story featuring Clary and the characters from the Mortal Instruments. Simon and Isabel are engaged, and they have the engagement party on Max Lightwood's birthday. And now I always get confused when someone says Max Lightwood. So Max Lightwood is in Robert and Neris's son. Max Lightwood Bane is what I'm talking about. Magnus and Alec's son, Blue Max. It was just so lovely, and it was like Max Lightwood was there, and it was really nice. And then we get to see Lily and Maya and more of those, and I love those characters. Seeing Lily in Born to Endless Night, she's such a good character, and what Alec is doing with the Downworlders I think is so great. Harry talks about seeing little Max curled up on the side of Magnus, and Magnus is reading to him. They adopt another little boy, and he's called Raphael Santiago Lightwood Bane, and they adopt him, and he's 5 and Max is 3. And we got to see some of Alec and Clary's relationship and how that is developed, and how he was really worried about adopting a new child, and how Clary was the one that he went to, and how Clary was the one that reassured him. But I just think he's grown so much. He used to just not get on, and now Alec, look at you, you're a dad, you're someone's dad. This little family, Magnus Bane is someone's dad. That's something that I can't properly compute. He finally has this family, and him and Alec are just so good, and they have these 2 little boys. Jace proposes to Clary, and Clary doesn't say anything, and then she says that she was dreading giving him his answer when they get back. Like, is she gonna say no? Because, like, I hope that if she does, they don't break up after all that shit they went through. If they fucking break up, I will, like, oh, if we hear like through Emma that she was on the phone to Clary and Clary told her that her and James broke up, I will literally throw something out of my window. Cassandra Clare said there's going to be a wedding. I think it's going to be Simon and Isabel's, but it could be Clary and Jace's, it could be Magnus and Alex. They haven't got married. They won't get married until they can get married in every situation, which I think is really great and such a good stand to everything. So we don't know what's going to happen with that, but I think that we got told things like that. We got told about Simon and Izzy because that's going to be something in the future novels. I don't think that they're going to be completely not in book 2. I think they are going to pop up again, and I feel as if it's going to be anyone. It's probably going to be Magnus the most, and maybe Jace and Clary because of the Herondale situation. So yes, I did like it. Once again, Cassandra Clare, you ruined my life. I found it funny and just so well written. I just feel like she's just got this amazing ability to write from the same world but in so many different ways and with such a massive range of diverse characters and diverse people, and I think that it's so good. And I just enjoy her books. They make me feel so many things, so many emotions, happiness, sadness. I want to throw the book out the window nest. Reading this book felt like coming home. Let me know what you thought of Lady Midnight down in the comments. What, did you like it? Did you not like it? Which new characters did you like? Which ones did you not like? Let's discuss it in the comments. Obviously, I am up for discussing it anywhere else as well. All my links are in the description and we can have a massive Shadowhuntery chat. Seems to be the only thing I talk about nowadays because, you know, the show and all the books and stuff. That will die down soon. I'm so sorry for people that don't get as excited as me. So yes, let me know. We'll have a discussion about it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you are all doing really, really, really well, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!